back to another episode of Liam. In today's episode, I'm going to show you what's in my backcountry bag. And this is the guy right here. So previously, I had planned to have Tyler Revell on the podcast. He wasn't able to make it this week, so we'll have him on another time. And I'd been thinking about making this video for quite a while, so I figured I'd pull out the bag and we can dig through it and see what's in it. I haven't looked through the bag since I packed it away last winter. So there'll be maybe a couple surprises for me too. The only thing I did do was put in 2 new items that I'll be carrying with me this winter. So I guess the best place to start is to talk about the bag. This bag is from Burton. It's a 30-liter bag and it's called the Incline. They don't make it anymore, but it's really similar to the Dispatcher. So if you like the look of this bag, you can probably go pick one of those up and it'd be pretty similar. One thing I really like about this bag is it's got these cinch straps on the side. So no matter kind of how big you're running it, if you've got it packed to the nines like it is kind of right now, or you're running it on a super lightweight setup, you can cinch it down and not have all this loose weight on your back. We'll just pop those right now and sort of alleviate some tension in this thing so we can start digging through it. Now this is about as full as this bag will ever be. There is everything to go splitboarding and there's kind of every little doodad that I might ever carry throughout the winter. But I carry 90% of this stuff, 90% of the time I'm out there. So I think let's tackle the biggest pocket first. All right, so we got a pair of gloves. These are the Gandhi leather mitts, I believe, from Burton. The reason I have my gloves in this bag is because I don't ever ride with gloves unless I'm in the backcountry, just because gloves give you the ability to use your gear in the ways that you need to, that mitts don't really. I know some guys will actually carry a pair of gloves and mitts because they like the look of mitts in videos and photos, but they prefer the functionality of gloves when they need it. I don't go that far. I usually just run these, but yeah. Then we'll start off with one of the first new items for this year, which is a new pair of skins. I've recently upgraded my Splitboard. I was on a Burton Landlord from like 2015, and I've just gotten a Burton Hometown Hero, and it's a 160 wide, which I'm really excited about. It's a much bigger board than I used to have. But that meant I needed new skins, so I picked up the G3 Universal LTs. They were like $5 more than the regular Universal, and the LT is just meant to be lightweight. One nice feature about these newer skins over the old ones that I'm pretty excited about is they have this camming tail clip. So the old ones you'd have to really yank on the thing and just like squeeze it over the edge and have it clip on. But this one, from what I remember seeing on my buddies, is you kind of hook it on one edge and then all the tension is added when you cam it down. So that should be a pretty nice feature to have. From my understanding, from what I read on the website, is that the Universal is supposed to be sort of in the middle of grip and glide. Not the grippiest, not the longest glide, but somewhere in the middle. And same with snow conditions. They're supposed to work pretty good in all conditions. So we're gonna go with that and try them out. I'm excited for them. Now, in the rest of the big package, got some poles. I've had these poles for about as long as I had that old Splitboard, so probably like 5 years. And they're pretty beat up. You can see like the rubber is all like kind of busted up on them, but they still work. And they are really great poles. I've actually really enjoyed them. And they pack down really nice, which is great, so they're not sticking out of your bag trying to stab you. Shovel. BCA shovel. I don't know what model it is, whatever they got. Good unit. Recently filed down the tip of it, so no burrs, doesn't cut up the inside of my backpack. Nice to do every once in a while. And then this is something that I built last fall. Unfortunately, I haven't had to dig into it yet. And that is a first aid kit. I was fortunate enough to do the bald-face risk maturity course 2 years ago. And included in that, we did this 2-day first aid course prior to going up to bald-face and learning more about snow safety and risk management. And they also provided us with a list of gear that they thought that we should be carrying with us. So this is some of the stuff and what I could kind of get my hands on. These I found and I thought they were pretty cool. They're made by Ready Heat, and they are these heated blankets. And essentially once you crack open this plastic, they react to the air and they heat up and they last for up to 8 hours. That was the biggest takeaway I had from that first aid course is you want to keep people warm out there. That's like the best thing you can do for survival. So a lot of the things that I'm carrying are for warmth, more so than things to package people up. I've never tried this. Yeah, I think if you spend a night out there too, you'd be happy to have it. They're of course one-time use, but they weren't that expensive. I don't remember, 20 or 30 bucks or something. When you need it, you'd probably be happy to have it. And not that heavy. So we got that. And then in this Ziploc bag, I'm kind of sad to break it apart because it's like so nicely packed. I was pretty happy with myself. but I'm doing it for you guys. So we got some simple triangle bandages, some airways. I'm not carrying all the sizes that came with the kit. I'm just carrying the couple that I figured would be likely for the people I ride with. CPR mask here, just if you ever have to do it, it's a lot nicer. Yeah, it comes with some gloves in there. Yeah. This is kind of all stuff that I carry in hopes that by carrying it, I'll never need it. But if I ever do need it, I think I'm gonna be certainly happy that I have it. More triangular bandages, good for slings. I also have a tourniquet, which is hopefully way more overkill than I'll ever need, but it didn't weigh very much. And I don't know, I think especially if you needed a tourniquet, having one would be very essential. I bought this one by Cat, and it was supposed to be one that was recommended highly. Supposedly if you buy the cheap ones, I don't know, people said there's a lack of quality. So this was one of the actual most expensive items on the list was the tourniquet, I think. Tensor bandage, reflector blanket. Another thing to keep people warm. Doesn't have any added heat, it just keeps your heat in, which is very beneficial. From my understanding, you can keep people warm, but you can't heat them back up. So getting that on someone as soon as they're going into shock or something like that, or if you got to spend the night, just keeping that heat in at all times. I'm of course no expert at any of this. This is just regurgitating information I've been relayed to me and hoping that it may help you. But if you're at all curious, you should definitely take a first aid course, either a simple 2-day like I took, or I've had friends take their 80-hour first aid courses and been very happy with the knowledge I learned. Some big bandages, gauze, small bandages, medical tape. Oh, this is actually the tape that I would recommend taping your face with. If any of you watched my Why I Tape My Mouth Shut at Night video, this stuff is good. Plasticky nylon stuff. And what do I have later? This is the last thing. Oh yeah, this is a SAM chest seal. So this would be if you ever had a puncture wound in the chest, you would toss this on. Again, very gnarly situation that I hope I don't ever have to use it for, but I don't know, I have it. A lot of this stuff is probably overkill, honestly. But like this thing weighs nothing and it fit in the bag. So I've been told you kind of only want to build a kit that you're going to be willing to carry all the time. So this was stuff that I was willing to carry. So I built it like this. Your needs might be different. You might want different things in your kit. But yeah, that was the first aid kit. I'm going to put all this stuff to the side and I'll put it all back together nicely afterwards. Okay, so that is it for the big pocket. This backpack's kind of cool. It actually has like some sort of a rigid support here. So the backpack rides quite nicely even with the amount of weight that I have in it currently. I don't think it weighs that much, maybe like 20 pounds or something. I'd probably have water if I was going out in the backcountry, which would add a lot of weight. But yeah, this bag rides really nice. And it's got these big hip straps here too. And they carry the weight quite well. So it's definitely a bag on the big side, but I've also ridden it on days where I'm just out with the sled and in a super lightweight setup where I'm not carrying skins, poles, anything for splitboarding and very little food, and cinched right down, it rides like a small pack too. So yeah, I've actually been really happy with this bag. Now to go to the next pocket here, Puffy. This is Burton's light down puffy jacket, just packs into its own pocket. And even if I'm riding with one on my body, you'll actually carry another one because this is a great thing if someone's been hurt or you're spending the night to just have a second one of these. They pack up super small and I just love to have them. Next, we got a 5-meter cordlet. This is some 6mm rope. You're not gonna pull anyone out of a hole with this, but you can use it with other larger ropes to make prussics, or if you've got to pull a sled out and you just want an extra thing to hold on, this is really nice for. Yeah, it's just good to have a little chunk. Carabiner, ski strap. These can be either used to fix gear, like if your boot blows up, you can fix your boot or attach yourself to your binding, or in a first aid scenario, you can make splints out of these with the poles and stuff like that. So these things are great. They're also called tension straps. These ones are Valhalla Pure ones. Also got a probe here. This one is a 270 BCA. It's alloy. Some people would say, especially for the coastal mountains, the 270 might be a bit small. A lot of the guys I know carry like 300s or larger. If you're searching for someone and they happen to be below 3 meters, the survival rate is quite low. This would be one of the next things I upgrade, is maybe carry a larger probe and maybe one of the lighter weight ones. Face mask. I usually use this for the really cold days. I don't like snowboarding in these, but under helmets or full faces when you're sledding is really nice. This is kind of a funny one. My dad gave this to me, well, I don't know, probably maybe like 15 years ago. And I think a lot of the information on it's outdated, but it's kind of a cool little checklist that you can go through. You wouldn't want to be doing it while someone was buried, but it is kind of a, yeah, I'll leave it there for you. Kind of a fun thing to have. But like, yeah, I think well, no, actually, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, maybe some of the beacon searching stuff is, yeah, I don't know. I carry it with me. It's kind of like a souvenir too. Another ski strap. And then we have my beacon. I have the batteries taped to the back of it for storage. If you are storing your beacon for the summer, you always want to take the batteries out because they could fail and leak in there and then ruin your beacon and cost you a whole bunch of money. This is a Tracker 2, so it's quite an old beacon, but it's what I've trained on, and it's very simple to use, which is nice. The simplicity just makes it easy to search. I wouldn't necessarily recommend buying this one, and probably something I'll upgrade in the future, but yeah, it's worked really well for me. Beacons are a whole different world, and I think you can go down the rabbit hole of what you kind of need. But anyways, this is one I've used, and it's worked well. It's a fire starter, lighter, more batteries, and then a bivy sack. So this is a tiny little one. I don't think you'd have a very enjoyable night if you spent it in it, but I figured if I did spend the night out there, I'd have the bivy sack, the puffy on, and then the heated blanket probably wrapped around me, and I hope that all of that would keep me warm throughout the night. So it's a pretty minimalist setup, I guess, but yeah, there's a lot of things that hopefully I'll do that could avoid me spending the night unintended, but sometimes things happen and you want to be prepared for that. What else do we have? Oh, I have a snow ruler. Didn't even know I was carrying that. It's kind of cool. These are sweet. I always loved playing with these as a kid. My dad had them around the house. They're so fun. This is pretty short. Meter? Yeah, so. But kind of cool if you're ever doing snow profiles and you want to measure the height of a slab. Okay, now to the last pocket here, the top pocket. We have a pair of sunglasses. This is called Dynex Runners, I believe. I think this is a 5 meter. They're made by Black Diamond, and they're super sick. This is something I actually carry on hill if it's even a deep day or something like that, because if you ever need to do a tree well rescue, these work very well for that. This is a super useful item to have with you at all times. A lot of the guys use them to help when sleds are stuck. They'll loop around the skis and then they can help pull in the thing without being in the way of the moving snowmobile. If I were to recommend getting any sort of weird item out of this list, getting one of these, I would highly recommend. They are super useful. I've actually used this piece of kit some of the most out of a lot of the random little doodads here. I've also got some food in here. Got a really old Cliff Bar and another really old Cliff Bar. I've also got zap straps or zip ties if you're from the States. These are really great for repairing gear or, you know, whatever little sticky situation you get yourself in. And I also have a tool. So fixing your bindings, things like that. There's a couple items that aren't in this bag that I usually carry, which would be spare lenses for my goggles, as well as usually a snowboard scraper to get ice off the board at any time, and a power bank too. So if I'm gonna be heavily relying on my phone, I'll carry one like this. So this is one I just bought off Amazon. It's pretty small, and it's actually charging my phone right now that I use as a monitor. So very useful to have. And then we'll finish it off with the final piece that I just got, and that is the Garmin InReach Mini. So my dad's been kind of on me to get a satellite phone for a little while, and I picked this one up. I have no experience with it, haven't used it one bit, but I put it in the bag because I'll probably be carrying with me every time I go out. I also got it because I drive a really old truck, and I've been kind of worried that it's going to break down on me in a BC highway pass without service, and this would get me help if I needed it. So that is what's in my backcountry bag. I hope you found some of this information useful. I always find it cool to kind of look into other people's bags and see what they carry. So this is what I run on a kind of daily basis when I'm out in the backcountry. I don't frequent the backcountry too much, usually like maybe 5 or 10 times a year, but I've been fortunate enough to do it for the last 10 or 15 years or so, and this is what I like to carry. Let me know what you guys carry in your bag. If there's things that you carry that I don't have here, I'd love to hear about, because maybe that's something I'd like to add. Or if you have any questions about any of this gear here, just leave them in the comment section. I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed your time here, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next week.